Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered why some things just make your skin crawl, while others barely register? Well, today we're diving into the science of disgust and a really interesting argument about how our brains and our personalities deal with it. So imagine you see something gross, our brains react, right? But what drives that reaction? Is it how easily you get disgusted in general, or how much you hate the feeling of being disgusted? Researchers are looking into this more and more, and one recent study suggested that how easily you get disgusted, what they call disgust propensity, might be the key player in how your brain reacts to gross stuff. But, as the author of this commentary points out, maybe the way they tested that idea was a bit backwards. This commentary is basically saying, hold on a minute, let's think about the order of things. Let's break this down in science, especially when we talk about cause and effect. Timing is everything. You can't have something happen after its effect, right? This is where the idea of mediation comes in. A mediator is something that explains the relationship between two other things. For example, if we see that more exercise leads to better mood, the mediator might be the release of endorphins. Endorphins are released during exercise, and then they make you feel good. So exercise comes first, then endorphins, then a better mood. Now, in the study being discussed, the researchers looked at how people reacted to gross pictures. They measured brain activity, how much people felt disgusted at that moment. That is the state disgust. And then they looked at whether a person's general tendency to get disgusted, disgust propensity, or how much they dislike disgust. Disgust sensitivity explained the brain activity. The problem, according to this commentary, is that they tried to say that state disgust, the feeling you get after seeing the picture, could be a mediator for how your brain reacts to the picture. And that disgust propensity or sensitivity could also mediate that, but that messes with the timeline. Think about it this way. You see a gross picture, your brain starts working immediately. Then, a moment later, you rate how gross you feel. The commentary argues that you can't have your feeling of disgust, which you rate after seeing the picture, influence the brain activity that happened while you were seeing the picture. It's like trying to say that the echo of a shout caused the shout. It's just not chronologically possible. The author of this commentary is suggesting a different way to look at it. Instead of disgust propensity or sensitivity mediating the brain's reaction to a stimulus, they should be seen as predictors. So, your general tendency to be disgusted, your disgust propensity or sensitivity, influences how your brain reacts to a gross picture. And that brain reaction, in turn, influences how disgusted you feel in that moment. It's a much more logical flow of events. Personality trait brain reaction, immediate feeling. It is important to understand that disgust propensity and disgust sensitivity aren't the same thing. Disgust propensity is about how easily you get disgusted. Think of someone who gags at the sight of a moldy piece of bread. Disgust sensitivity is more about how unpleasant you find the experience of being disgusted. Someone might not gag easily, but if they do get disgusted, they really dislike it. These are different, but related ideas, and past research shows they're distinct enough to matter. Now, the researchers who did the original study did say their mediation models were exploratory. That means they were just testing things out, looking for potential connections. But this commentary argues that even when you are exploring, you still need to make sure your ideas make sense logically and in terms of timing. Just because a computer program can run a statistical test doesn't mean the way you set up the test is actually meaningful in the real world. It's a bit like using a calculator to figure out how many apples you have. If you accidentally enter numbers for oranges, the calculator will give you an answer, but it won't be the right answer for your apples. So the core of the argument is about causality and timing. For something to mediate an effect, it needs to happen in the right order. It is like saying a car's alarm system mediates its ability to start. That doesn't make sense. The alarm system is there to deter theft, not to make the car start. In the same way, a stable personality trait can't mediate a fleeting immediate response to a stimulus if the trait is supposed to be influenced by that response. This commentary is a great reminder that even with fancy statistical tools, we still need to use common sense and theoretical logic. The brain is incredibly complex, and understanding how emotions like disgust work involves tracing the sequence of events. It's not just about finding a statistical link, it is about understanding the story of how things happen. This leads me to my take on this. I think this commentary is pointing out a really important flaw in how some research is done. It's easy to get caught.